Today we're being joined by potential AFLW draftee from WA, Jaime Henry. Jaime, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Tell us a bit about yourself for people that don't know too much about you, what type of player you are and what got you into footy.
Yeah, so I live over in Western Australia. I've been playing footy my whole life. Started in Auskick, and I've been playing all the way with the boys up until year 9. And then I was fortunate enough to head down to Swan Districts in the AFLW, and I've been playing league ever since. So, yeah, I've been loving it.
How's that time been in the waffle playing in for the Swan Districts? Obviously, pretty cool to play for the level below AFLW when that opportunity arises. And it's good to get that experience about playing against people with experience as well in those leagues.
Yeah, definitely. I started up playing in that league at 15, so it was a bit of a trend from junior footy straight into the AFLW. But yeah, fell in love with it, and the girls got around me. So yeah, it was really good.
It's good. So, what type of play would you best describe yourself? Like a midfielder? What type of style of mid or player would you best describe yourself as?
Yeah, so I started in the halfback when I first moved into that team, but I'm now an inside midfielder, which I really like. As opposed to that defensive role, I kind of like attacking and kind of I would describe myself as a bit of a bull, kind of just through packs and gather ground balls, and yeah.
How's the year been for you in terms of with the draft talk all around? How do you deal with getting talked about when this draft period gets mentioned all the time?
Yeah, I guess it is a bit hard, like being in year 12, you kind of hear lots of things going on, but it's really important just to kind of shut off the outside voices, because at the end of the day, nothing matters until the actual draft day. It's pretty cool experience talking to clubs and, reading things, but it's really important just to stay humble and, enjoy the experience.
Sure. So how's the chats been with clubs? How many clubs have you roughly spoken to, and how's those experiences been? Has it been nerve-wracking, been exciting? How have you been feeling going into those meetings with clubs?
Yeah, I've had a couple so far, some in WA, some over East, but yeah, it's a bit daunting for your first few, because, some clubs have maybe a bit more of a friendly approach and others ask, a bit harder questions, but no, it's good. It's really exciting just to go into it with an open mind and, back yourself and be yourself.
Do you remember the first point of contact you had of a club, and how was that time? Was it a call? Or did you meet up with your manager, or how was that experience for you? And yeah, I'm sure it was pretty nerve-wracking to meet a club for the first time, because then you start to get used to what life would be in those roles.
Yeah, definitely. I was fortunate enough to have my manager contact me from this club. It was really exciting. I was like, oh my God, no way, like an actual club, AFLW club, like talk to me, like no way. But yeah, it was really exciting, and I was kind of very nervous the night before, but it was something that I'm like, this will be the reality. If I want to get drafted, I've got to get used to talking to clubs and talking to people. And yeah, so I just put my best foot forward and enjoyed it.
So obviously with the AFLW draft, at least at this stage, it's a bit different to the men's one, where you can get the state, you can nominate for the state, or you can go in the national. How's that process been for you, and have you made up your decision in terms of what pool you want to nominate for?
Yeah, it is a bit of a hard decision being in year 12, because, you're so young, and kind of moving to the other side of the country from your family is a bit of a transition. But I've decided to nominate national, just to open up my options, which is pretty cool. I'm happy to go anywhere. So yeah, just being super and going into it.
That's good. I was going to follow up with that. If the opportunity was to arise to go interstate, obviously since you nominate for the national draft, and with that option of have the possibility to stay home in this draft, and you've gone for the national draft, I'm assuming clearly going off that you're happy to go anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would just be an unreal experience regardless of, staying here or moving. So super open-minded.
It's good. What team did you grow up barracking for?
Obviously living in Western Australia, I did go for West Coast for a while, but as of the past few years, I've more so been following players. I find it cool, like watching like Christian Petrarca and just seeing him dominating the competition, and same with the AFLW, Paddy Prasparkas, Ebony Marinoff, just, the really dominated players. Yeah, they're pretty cool to watch.
That's good, because there's not many people, and I've heard that answer before, but I've rarely heard it. So it's interesting to see from your side, for example, you're barracking for a team and then just more following players in the club. So is there any place, I'm going to assume it's the girls you just mentioned in Petrarca, but any place you model your game off and like to try and play like?
Yeah, even just Kiara Bowers from Freo, AFLW, she's an absolute ball, and she doesn't stop. Her tackle counts, like one game was like 18. Like I just find that unreal. Like her work rate is something that I obviously aspire to be like. So yeah.
So watching AFL and AFLW as a neutral observer, how do you go with the games? I'm assuming since you're more following players and teams, you're pretty cool when you're watching it. Do you have a soft spot still for the Eagles?
Oh, somewhat. Maybe just because they're a WA type side, so I know majority of the players. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really like as of recently, like I know a whole lot more of the AFLW players. When you get more invested in the competition, you watch it a whole lot more. I'm more invested in players, so yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned before that you know some AFLW players as well. How's that experience like to kind of know some of the girls who are already in the competition and kind of pick their brain, I suppose, in asking them, how the time will be, what it's like in the club environment? Have you spoken to some of them in terms of trying to get a feel of what it'd be like?
Yeah, definitely. A few of my mates who are only like a year older than me recently got drafted in the last draft. And I'm still so close, and it's unreal just to hear what their schedule and their routine is like. And I was also fortunate enough to play with, probably at least 10 AFLW players in the Waffle W competition in my team. So I admired all of them, and now seeing them play in the AFLW is just unreal.
Have they given you any advice, those girls, in how to experience in this time and how to go ahead of it with the draft period? And then if you're lucky enough to get picked up as well, have they spoken to you about what that'd be like and how you would handle it and how to handle it?
I think most people just say to me, just enjoy the whole experience. Like, it's the most exciting time of your life, but regardless of if you get picked up or not, you've still always had a dream and you should never give up on it, kind of thing. Like, if I weren't to get drafted this year, like, that's more than okay. I'm obviously going to go back to Waffle W next year and just have a cracker season and try my best to get drafted in the upcoming years.
Sure. For your season so far this year, how have you ranked your season playing for WA? And is there any games in particular that stand out to you to know that were really strong and that could put your name on the map, in other words?
Yeah, I think we had 3 WA games this year. I struggled a bit coming back from injury and managing my load, but no, I really enjoyed it. We had a great team, super young team as well, though. Probably my favourite year was playing in the National Academy game at Marvel. I was on management, but I absolutely loved it. Like, having the roof shut at Marvel was just unreal, and playing with girls from all around the country with the same goal as you was just amazing. Like, it was so fun.
That's good. So the name kind of cut out. Then who did you say you played on?
We played at Marvel Stadium.
Oh, nice. So, how was that experience like playing from local grounds and other grounds like that, then to go play on Marvel?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, running out with all the big lights in front of you. It was crazy, and cameras everywhere. It felt so real, and I really enjoyed that experience.
It's good. So, in that particular game, is there any matchups that you had in that game or throughout the season that you probably say is your toughest opponent you've had to match up on?
Toughest opponent might be Piper Window from South Australia. She's an absolute beast. We kind of play a similar hard ball getters. But yeah, she's always a tough one to go against.
Definitely, for sure. And obviously in that top 5 contention she is, and obviously it would be a tough matchup. Do you recall the goal that Danielle Ponta got in the AFLW at the start of the season from the centre square?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, she absolutely.
Yeah, launched it. Do you think there's anyone in your team or yourself that would be able to replicate that moment, or someone that thinks they can replicate that?
Potentially. We do have a few midfielders with an absolute boot, but more so, it's just if you launch it pretty right. We've got some girls that can kick an absolute torp so far. In my Swan Districts team, I've got Bella Edgley. She's an absolute unit and probably has the biggest kick on the team. So, yeah, definitely say her.
Nice, that's good. If you could poach, if you were lucky enough to land an AFLW club and you get to that club and there's a player you would love to poach from another club. So let's hypothetically speak here. So say you land at, Essendon. Who would you like to poach from a club to steal to bring to your club? Someone that you admired watching AFLW, who's someone you would like to poach?
I love watching Georgie Pastrakis and also Michaela. They're from Geelong. I was lucky enough to play with Michaela. She's a bit of a weirdo, but yeah, she's a great person.
So was that Michaela? Which Michaela was that? Did you say?
Michaela from Geelong.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice. Sorry, cut out, but that's all right. Yeah, no, she's been very good for Geelong and you'll play for them for the last few years for sure. What's someone does at the club that you can just not stand? Whether it's an idea whether they try and scare someone all the time, jump out of bins, leaving food everywhere, leaving clothes everywhere. Is there anything that someone does that annoys you?
There's a couple people that when they have their ice bath, they just leave all their physio tape. They cut it off before they bath, and they leave it all over the floor, and it's all like slime, dirty, and it's absolutely disgusting. But not a fan of that.
That's fair. I wouldn't blame you. Any nicknames you get given?
A lot of people call me Hennas, with the last name, and probably Jaime. A lot of people say Jaime, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's good. Any outside of footy interests, play any other sports or any hobbies that you like doing?
No, I used to do athletics, but I gave that up just so I can put all my eggs into the footy basket. But I recently love just being at the beach, and lucky enough to live in WA, you can just go camping wherever pretty much up the coast, and I've really enjoyed that lately.
That's good. Mark or goal of the year, which one would you rather do?
Probably goal of the year.
I love a goal. I
definitely see myself taking mark of the year. I don't really get off the ground too much. I'm a bit of a land mammal, but yeah.
That's a good option. Who would you say is a teammate or someone in the competition that is underappreciated, that's in that draft range like yourself, that doesn't get talked about as much that really should, that's not talked about like the top names are?
Great question. Maybe Lily Grassness. She's a halfback, absolute unit. You know, I would always rely on her because she's got the pace of anyone. Like, she's so fast, probably fast in the team. Definitely rated. Just her ability to run off halfback and, launch it long. Like, I could always rely on her.
That's good. I've got two more questions for you, Pressure, coming on. Rising star tip for the AFLW this year. Obviously, there's a few names. You got Ali Morford, Zali Goldsworthy, Ella Roberts, Jazz Fleming, and there's a few others as well. Who's someone that you would feel would win the Rising Star this year? Because it's pretty tight and really close, particularly between those first three names I just mentioned.
Yeah. Ali Morford was pretty unlucky to get injured in probably the last maybe games, but
3 weeks.
Gets it. She's had an unreal season, being 19, as does all of them. Ella, I was fortunate enough to play with her state team, and even someone a bit out of the ranks is Matilda Scholes from Port Adelaide. She's been doing really
good. Yeah. She's definitely been good as well. Premiership tip for the AFLW this year. Obviously, you got Melbourne, you got North Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane. Is there smoky outside of those 4?
To be honest, I hope Essendon Underdogs get up there. Just from being an expansion side last year, this is their second season, and to be making already is unreal. They've obviously worked really hard, so it'd be good to see them get up there.
Sure, Jamie, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best of the draft this year, and hopefully it works out for you and you have a long, successful career, whatever club that ends up being. So, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Cooper. Have a good one.
No, you too.